When your storm stoppers are delivered, you'll notice a number of things in the kit. For one, you'll have the oversized panels. These you'll cut down to size. We do not use 4x8 panels as they're too small. Instead, we use oversized 74x80 and oversized 65x108 storm stopper panels. Next, you'll have the cutting blueprint. These are cutting diagrams that plot your windows on the oversized storm stopper panels. This is what you use to cut the panels down to size. Next, you have the 3M dual lock fasteners. Now you're either going to have all narrow fasteners, all regular fasteners, or a combination of both depending on your window frame sizes. 3M dual lock also comes in two basic colors, clear and black, for the different colored window frames. Clear looks best on a white or silver window frame. Black looks best on a bronze or dark colored window frame. You'll also have the storm stopper location labels. These are attached to the storm stopper panel and let you know what goes where. You'll have a removal handle. This allows you to get the storm stopper panel off the window frame. You'll have the primer. This bonds the panel to the window frame and the fasteners to the panel. You'll also have spacers. This is how you space out the 3M dual lock fasteners. We have a regular fastener spacer for the regular fasteners and a narrow spacer for the narrow fasteners. Finally, you'll have the step-by-step color installation instructions. Now, prior to installing, there are some tools you need to get that'll help the job go quicker and easier. The first is you need an apron, something that has space for pockets. You can put fasteners, you can put your tape measure here. I like this one. It's called the Bucket Boss. You can get it for about 20 bucks on Amazon. Secondly, you need a good hat, something that protects your neck. You also need a good pair of dark sunglasses. Believe it or not, the storm stopper panels, they reflect a lot of light, and if you don't have a good pair of sunglasses on, you'll get eye strain. And lastly, since you'll be working out in the hot sun, you need to have some good sunscreen. To install storm stoppers, you're going to need some basic tools that you can pick up at any hardware store or home improvement center. The first is a straight edge. A straight edge could be a T-square or a piece of metal. To hold the straight edge down, you'll need a pair of spring clamps. To clean up any imperfections in the storm stopper panel, we recommend using a Surform shaver. This looks like a glorified cheese grater. It can also be used to round the corners so you don't poke yourself or poke the screens. To cut storm stoppers, we recommend using a carpet knife. Now, the benefit of a carpet knife is it's retractable, and also it has square blades, so you're less likely to cut yourself versus a pointed blade. Another benefit of using the carpet knife is that the blade actually has 4 cutting surfaces at each blunt corner. So if one corner starts to get dull, you can easily flip the blade over, plus there's extra blades in the handle. The first step in installing storm stoppers is to clean the window frames with alcohol. You want to clean off the dirt, the grime, and make sure all the window frames are nice and clean. After the window frames are clean, you want to brush on the primer. It's important that you use primer in a well-ventilated area, and you brush it on the window frames, a nice wide coat. You want to brush it on anywhere you think the fasteners are going to touch. Cutting storm stoppers is very easy. You need to make 2 cuts. The first is cutting down the flutes. The second is cutting across the flutes. To cut down the flutes, you take your tape measure, draw a dot where you want to cut. We've drawn our mark, and we place the blade on the mark, and as you can see, the blade tucks into the corner there. And now we're just using the corner as a guide, to run the blade down the panel. Now that you've cut through one side of the panel, you turn the blade 90 degrees so it's perpendicular to the panel and run it down nice and easy and cut through the other side of the panel. To cut storm stoppers across the flutes, you take your tape measure and you make 3 dots. The first dot is on one end, the second dot is in the middle, and the third dot is on the other end. These dots act as a guide for your straight edge. The next step is to clamp your straight edge right on the dots. The next step in cutting across the flutes is to take your carpet knife and draw a line on the panel. Now that the line's been drawn on the panel, you want to take your carpet knife and put it at the top of the line. It generally takes about 3 passes with the carpet knife to cut through. Now you go a little bit deeper with each pass. Any black dots you make on the panel can now be removed with your alcohol. Imperfections in the panel can be cleaned up with the Surform shaver, like this. I also like it to round the corners so you don't poke yourself and you don't poke the screens. Once you've cut the storm stopper panel, you do a dry fit, hold it up to the window, and make sure no other adjustments need to be made. Once the storm stopper panel's been cut, next you label it so you know which panel goes where. In this case, this is a dining room panel, so we have a label that says dining room. In addition to priming the window frame, you also need to prime the panel. Again, you want to use in a well-ventilated area. And with primer, you want to brush on about a 2-inch wide swath all the way around the panel. Since we're going to have fasteners on the crossbars, you need to put primer on wherever the crossbars measure out to be. On this window frame, the crossbars measure from 23 inches to 25 inches. So that's where we're going to brush primer on. As you can see, the primer dries shiny on the panel. That's how you know you've primed the panel. You also need to prime under where the handle will be attached. We know the handle is going to be attached on the right side of the panel. The right side of the front of the panel corresponds to the left side of the inside of the panel. To install the regular 3M fasteners, you would use the regular 4.5-inch spacer. To install the regular fasteners, you simply decide which side looks best on the window frame. In this case, it will be the clear fastener. Peel the liner off the clear fastener. Adhere to the window frame, and then set your spacer down. Peel another clear liner, and do that all the way around the window frame. To install the narrow 3M dual lock fasteners, you would use the narrow 2.25-inch spacer. Fasten it to the window frame. Lay your spacer in place. Peel the next clear liner off. Just like that. One of the challenges with installing fasteners is you really need 3 hands to do the job appropriately. You need one hand to hold the fastener, you need another hand to peel the liner, and you need a third hand to hold the spacer. That's not very productive. So a shortcut that'll increase your speed is to use one hand to hold the fastener, use your teeth to peel the liner off, and your other hand to hold the spacer. If you're right-handed, you would install the handle on the right side of the window frame. If you're left-handed, you install the handle on the left side of the window frame. Let's say you are right-handed. To install the handle, first what you do is you want to line the handle up in between the fasteners on the window frame, wherever is easiest for you to reach. So in this case, you want the handle to be about 5 inches in from the bottom. Make a dot where the handle is going to go. To install the handle, you would peel back the liner on the fastener on the underside of the handle. Now you want to attach the handle in line with the dot and make sure the seam is at least an inch in from the edge. So you want to install it right about there, and turn the panel over. You'll notice underside the logo is a fastener. You want to detach that fastener, peel the liner, exposing the adhesive, stretch the handle so it's taut, and position the handle fastener right about there, and fasten the handle like so. Let's review what you've done. You've cut the panel down to size, you've primed it, you've put on a removal handle, you've put on a location label, you've cleaned and primed the window frame, you've put on fasteners, regular fasteners 4.5 inches apart, narrow fasteners 2 1/4 inches apart, and if you have any crossbars, you space the fasteners 12 to 18 inches apart. To install the storm stopper panel onto the window frame, simply peel all the liners off all the adhesive on the second fastener, grab the storm stopper panel, go out to the window frame, position it. Now the most important step is you want to do a couple taps at each fastener location. What this is doing is seating the plastic onto the fasteners. Once you install the storm stopper panel, you want to wait at least 2 hours before removing it. This will give the fastener adhesive time to set up on the window frame and the panel. To remove the storm stopper panel, grab the handle and pull. You'll hear a sound, and you get your hand behind it and pull the storm stopper off the window frame. After you remove the storm stopper panel from the window frame, you want to take a marker and make little dots opposite each fastener on the panel. These show you where to push for reinstallation. To reinstall your storm stopper panel, grab the panel, go out to the window, and using your white rubber reinstallation mallet, do 2 taps at all the dots. You can also use your hand, but your hand will get tired. So use the mallet. Once you've installed your storm stoppers, we recommend storing them out of direct sunlight. That means you can put them in a garage or attic. High heat is fine as long as they're out of direct sunlight.